Very warm welcome to all of you. So I guess by now it's good afternoon and not good morning anymore. For what is already the 9th EU-India Smart Grids workshop, I first of all would like to thank very warmly ISGF, Reggie, Rena and the whole team to give again the occasion to hold an EU-India Smart Grids workshop here at the India Smart Utilities Week. It's really a very enthusiasming and dynamic environment that they create, in which each time we are very happy to come and organize a workshop with them. I would also like to thank very much the Joint Secretary for his presence. I know you have a very busy schedule with parliamentary sessions and so on, but so it's very much appreciated that you could find the time to open this workshop today. I think it's a sign of the increasingly good and rich interactions between the European Union delegation, Delhi, and the European Commission with the Ministry of Power. So we also appreciated very much that the Secretary could jointly with our EU ambassador open the exhibition space yesterday. So I'm sure that we will also, after today's workshop, continue this cooperation, as it's also very much supported by the highest levels of our governments. We have done a lot of work in the European Union since 2010, 2011 on smart grids. We had a whole range of activities to support the development and then the deployment phase of smart grids and smart grid applications. We listed them and talked about them at various previous workshops, which these activities have led to mandates for standardization of smart grids, recommendations on smart meter functionalities, cost-benefit analysis activities for smart meters rollout. We also addressed issues on privacy, cybersecurity, and as we heard also yesterday and also this morning, we also have a whole program of innovation support for smart grids. And I think it's a first compared to our previous presences here at the India Smart Utility Week, that this time we also have an EU project zone, an EU pavilion, where many innovative projects are presented that have been funded by the European Commission. And we're certainly also very satisfied that the first group of projects in which European and Indian companies and research centers work together are also presented there. And as was also mentioned earlier in the workshop here, we are now launching this new call with 9+9 million, and I think this is another major step forward in the cooperation, which will lead to even stronger learning experiences, mutual learning experiences, as companies and research institutes will intensely work together over the duration of a project, which generally is 3 to 4 years. The overall driver for the EU to give a lot of attention to smart grids, smart grid applications, is really that we see this as a necessary element to integrate very high shares of renewable energy in the electricity system. We had already in, I think a decade ago, put ambitious targets for 2020 for renewables in the share of our energy mix. We have targets for 2030, which are set at 32% of energy coming from renewable sources, which in the electricity field means that we would have a share of about 50–55% of electricity coming from renewable power generation. And of course there's a lot to do for integrating this amount, these vast quantities of renewable electricity in the system. And that's why we touched upon not only demonstrations of technologies, but also the whole regulatory aspect, the market design, which has to be fit to integrate all those renewables. And it's precisely all these elements that we also bring into the dialogue, into the cooperation on smart grids with India. Because this is something that we really feel, it's that also on the Indian side, the ambitions for renewables are very high. The 175 gigawatt ambition by 2022, which we hear will be even surpassed, you will go even beyond, and we hear very ambitious figures of 400 to 430, 450 gigawatt by 2030. So these are really ambitions that we share, and so the challenges that we face for the integration of all this renewable electricity also we share. So that's why I think we have a common goal, a common objective for this cooperation. As said, we have launched this call yesterday. This was done in the plenary, and it followed a bit the subject that we had covered in our two previous EU-India Smart Grid workshops last year here at the India Smart Utilities Week, and one in Paris that you mentioned, Joint Secretary. This subject looked more at the local energy systems, the distribution side of the energy system, where we're trying to see how you can optimize the functioning, the management of a local energy system to integrate more renewables. Yeah? Following the logic that if you optimize it at the local level, probably you can avoid a number of investments in very expensive network infrastructure. In today's workshop, we want to look nevertheless also at the what we call the grid scale storage. So moving a bit away from the local level and looking more at the higher level of voltages in the network, and also the higher amounts of renewable electricity which possibly have to be stored over longer time periods. Yeah? So this was the goal of the program of this workshop. We'll see with the different set of presentations how we will touch upon this subject from various angles. But it would be interesting for us also to see if next to the focus on the local distribution networks, which is now addressed well in the upcoming call, if we can also see if on this field of the grid scale storage and the higher levels of voltage, we also see elements that could lead to stronger cooperation between the European Union and India. And who knows, in the future we would have also calls or other cooperation instruments that can touch upon these subjects. So I think we share ambitions, we share also a lot of challenges, and I think with the series of workshops and the concrete cooperation that is happening in the field, we are really on the right track with this cooperation. It's one of the cooperation areas in the overall EU-India energy dialogue that leads to quite intense interaction, to quite concrete activities. So I very much hope that the workshop today further contributes to this, and that it's one other milestone in, let's say, the journey in which we are together and which we will certainly continue. So thank you.